Let's take a look at the lower arm, which is to say your arm from elbow to wrist. It's the Da Vinci drawing of that, and here I'm drawing an arm for you real quick, and there's more muscle closer to your elbow, more tendon closer to your wrist. So we'll start with the bones. The bones we're talking about really are your radius and your ulna. Your radius goes, you'll notice your radius is larger towards your thumb side. Your ulna is your elbow bone, larger towards your elbow. So your lower arm is more directly connected to your upper arm at your ulna and more directly connected to your hand at your radius. And we have a lot of muscles to talk about. So this is from the Richer book, and he is doing a beautiful job showing you all the muscles in there. And again, more muscle towards the elbow, more tendon towards the wrist. Let's break it down into big groups. Your flexor pronator group is on the inner palmar side. So if you think of your hand flexing coming inwards, it goes from your medial epicondyle of your humerus, which is your upper arm bone, and inserts into the bone of your wrist, palmar surface, and base of the thumb. Then we have the extensor supinator group, which is on the outer dorsal side, mostly originates on the lateral or outside epicondyle, another word just for bump, on your humerus, and inserts into the metacarpal and phalanges. And then your thumb group, which mostly originates on your dorsal back part of your ulna and radius and inserts of base of your metacarpal 1 and the base of your first and second phalanges of your thumb. So just looking back at that Richer, I just highlighted everything that says extensor to show the simplification that I'm putting forth here. So aside from the extensors and flexors and a little bit of the thumb group, I want to talk about the brachioradialis in particular, just because it comes into play into drawing a lot. So it goes from your humerus there to your radius below your thumb, and it's important because for drawing that means that if the elbow's towards you, then it's in front of your bicep, and here if we switch to the other group, if the elbow is away from you, then the bicep's in front of it. So it would help you flex a little bit, but again, the big thing for drawing, brachioradialis in front of the bicep if the elbow is towards you. If the elbow is away from you, bicep in front of the brachioradialis. So there it is in the gold finger on the left, showing the bone, muscle by itself, muscle in context in a photo, and the Richer on the right. So looking at the muscles, I'll put the brachioradialis in first, again from humerus to your radius, and then these are mostly going to be flexors, right? Because they're going to go from the medial epicondyle, that little bump on the inside of your humerus, down. So those are mostly flexors, right? Flex your hand towards you. And a little bit of an extensor there at the side. Then going to the back, we have the brachioradialis, which we just see a little bit of, and then we're mostly going to have extensors back here. I put one in, the extensor carpi radialis longus, most of the other extensors, the flexor carpi ulnaris, and your thumb group a little bit there. So again, we got the extensors going from the outer dorsal side of the lateral epicondyle of your humerus, and they insert into the metacarpals and phalanges. And on the other side, your flexors, where you flex your palm towards you, which mostly go from the medial or inner part of your humerus, and insert into your bone or wrist, palmar surface, and base of your thumb. So there are a lot of muscles in your forearm, and if we look back at that Da Vinci drawing we started with, we can see he did a lot of dissection to figure all this stuff out, and he liked to figure out rules about things, but he essentially ended up saying, like, look, with the forearm, they're basically like ropes. They sort of twist with your arm as it rotates around, and you see here he has pinky towards you on the left and thumb towards you on the right, so he's rotating the arm 180 degrees to show you what the muscles underneath are doing. And it also shows you why that brachioradialis is important, because you can see when the elbow's towards you, it comes over the bicep, and then as it rotates to the drawing on the right, the biceps in front of the brachioradialis. So if we want to think of the forearm as a big, simple shape, let's think of it like an egg towards your elbow and a block towards your wrist, right? It's more muscle towards your elbow and more tendon towards your wrist. So that's a good, big, simple shape. And then from there, we can refine some of those lines with the things we know about it in more detail. So we'll see this egg and block when we look at this page of 2 pages of drawings by Peter Paul Rubens. The one on the left, more a study for a painting. You can really see the egg and block shape of the wrist, brachioradialis in front of the bicep where the elbow is closer. The one on the right is much more of an anatomical pen and ink study. And let's look at a Proudhon drawing. And the big things here are really clear, that egg and block shape, and on the left arm, elbow towards the brachioradialis in front, and on the arm on the right, elbow away from you and the bicep is in front. So those are the big principles for drawing the forearm, and I hope this was useful for you.